ADHD and anxiety. You had started a thread on that.
Yeah.
What do I need to know? I probably had ADHD as a kid, but didn't ever get diagnosed until I went to nursing school. And we learned about it in nursing school. And I went to my instructor afterwards and I said, I think I have. I mean, I know that in nursing school we think we have everything, you
Mm.
know, but I was like, I really think I have this. And she said, oh, I know you have this. And I had several other people. So, what do I need to know about ADHD and anxiety?
Well, ADHD, it's kind of an emerging topic. There's lots of different schools of thought on it. There's a lot of different symptoms. For example, being easily distracted, can't focus, having lots of things going through your mind, having lots of energy that seems untainable, lots of different things that way. Just, lots of hyperactivity involved. And so I think it's overdiagnosed today. And I don't think they have the cause figured out yet. Um, what kind of is a problem for me is that just like anxiety, we can use some of the things we're diagnosed with as an excuse not to progress. Some people just get stuck in, oh, woe is me, and this is how my life is. I can't do anything about it. And you succumb to your condition, so to speak. Whereas, with anxiety disorder, we have to work through it. If you want to get better, you got to work through it. And so, even though a person may have ADHD or those symptoms, there's still a lot of behavioral things you can do to compensate and to level them. My wife has ADHD, and so does a large part of her family have ADHD, and they're highly functional. So, it's not something where you want to use to hold us back or used to blame for certain things. It's just something we want to be aware of and try to find behavioral solutions so that we can still function normally. Yeah. And we are planning on completing the article. We're just about done. I'm not sure if we're going to be doing a complete videos on those just because videos take so long these days. It takes a lot of my time, but at least we'll have the article done.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, um I definitely I think I don't know if I have it or not. I never got officially diagnosed, but I had just and I thought I'm going to ask him if I get a chance. And then the second thing I was wondering, I'm 2.5 years into recovery.
Mhm.
Can you believe that? I've been with you 2.5 years, Jim.
I was just thinking of you this morning about how long you've been
Were
working
you
at this.
really?
Yeah.
I've been with Stacy every week for 2.5 years.
Wow. Yeah.
He gave
Yeah.
me a 3 to 5 year recovery. Um, I am seeing symptom reduction. Um, Maybe I'm going to answer before you ask me. 70%. I'm going to say 70% recovery.
Sounds good.
Um, so how do I? The fatigue has set in,
Mm.
and I remember reading from the website that can be the end stages.
Yeah.
If I overdo symptoms, like I kind of always have symptoms,
Yeah.
they're muted down, and I still have some stress responses. I'm able to kind of work through them. But if I push too hard and don't, I mean, when I say rest, I'm almost at a full stop. I mean, I feel that way,
Mm.
but I think that's my interpretation as somebody that's been balls to the walls their whole life. Driven is on my list.
Yeah.
Um, so how do I mean, resting, like, I don't even think I know how to rest, you know,
Yeah.
just, just constantly. And nurses are renowned. They don't sit well. They don't rest. So how do I just give myself a lot of grace and say, you know what, you're going to spend, because I remember reading that you said, you spend a lot of days on the couch, you spend a lot of days in bed. Do I just kind of give myself grace? Do I push against it? Do I?
Yeah. There's no one size fits all answer to that.
You understand what I mean, I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yeah, you know, we do want to rest for sure because that's what helps the body finish its recovery. Absolutely. And for
So
anxious
I'm
people
so
who,
I'm right about that. Like
yeah,
that I might
no,
be I might, I might be in stages. This has been horrible. This has been a
yeah.
nightmare.
And you might be getting there. This is the problem with fatigue is because it can be a symptom of full blown anxiety, but because you've been working at this and you're seeing symptom reduction, it does sound like your body's now finally getting to the place where it is tired and you can experience being tired. So I think that's a good thing. And you want to indulge in that as much as you can until you get your natural energy back. But you also want to balance that with the certain activities a person has to do each day. And sometimes you have to push through those activities. But if you err on the side of relaxation and resting, I think you'll keep on going until your body finally gets to the place where it comes out of that kind of rest. And also, don't be surprised if you feel a bit depressed. It's very common. We see it towards the end that people, as their energy drop, they just feel low and kind of blah. But that also,
Yeah.
yeah, that eliminates
Muted,
in time.
maybe
Yep. Yeah. Just
blunted, numb.
don't want to get invested in things too much. Yeah, some people will mistake that as kind of isolation, but it's really just giving your body time to complete its final recovery. Yeah.
So about the isolation, boundaries. Um, I still struggle, Jim. Like I had a gal who's a therapist and she's a friend of mine and she's a nice gal, but she just kind of every day wants to text me her mental status. Oh, I'm overwhelmed, and I finally just had to, of course, I had a ton of symptoms after this, but which I figured because not good at setting boundaries, but
Mm.
um, I just, I'm struggling being okay with like I told her, I said, listen, you can't text me your mental state every day. I can't take it on right now. Like
Yeah.
I am at like it's all I can do, Jim. It's all I can do to somewhat take care of myself, cook dinner. I have things going on with my children that I won't mention, but that's prolonged recovery. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I had my little dog die, and so anyway, I just said, please don't text me anymore.
Yeah. That's
And
appropriate.
I had tried several times to kind of set a decent boundary. But I mean, did you have to do that in recovery? I mean, you didn't have text when you were in recovery, but
No, I had to set the verbal ones. Yeah.
you had
Yeah.
to do it harder. You had to
Yeah.
break
Yeah.
up by text.
Yeah. Sorry. Can't do that no more. Oh, what are you doing? What's wrong? Sorry, I can't take it. And I'm focusing on my recovery. And those people who cared about me recovering were okay with it. Those people who were boundary violators usually gave me a hard time, but just had to ignore it, move on, set my boundaries, and that was that. Because you have to. Like, if you don't set boundaries to recover, you won't, because people will keep on, especially those around you who are used to you being on call for them. They will want you to continue to be on call. They might empathize with you, but say, "Oh, I'm sorry, you're struggling," and then they'll just sort of unload on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
this is where you have to say, "No, I can't take this right now. I'm focusing on recovery. Once I'm through this, we can talk, but right now I can't." Yeah,
Like I can barely get to church.
yeah,
Like I mean, I can, like I said, being a being a mama and I mean, it's just, and a wife still and the
yeah,
housework and stuff. I mean, that's more than max,
yeah,
let alone
yeah.
all the garbage from my past, that I have to Stacy in that old timeline.
Yep.
Stacy in that timeline. He loves that timeline.
It's hard work, but it's good work.
It is good work, and he's a good
Yeah,
therapist. And I'm very, very blessed to have him. He's
yeah,
been
he's a
very,
good
very
therapist.
kind to me and very patient with me. Um, he's actually he kind of comes across like uh, I sent him a video. There's no crying in baseball. Have you guys seen that movie from years ago with Tom Hanks? Like, there's
No, I
no
haven't seen that
crying
one.
in baseball, but Stacy, he wants to get you well, and he
Yes.
knows what it's going
Yeah.
to take to get you well. And
Yeah.
then this might be too early, but can we talk about, and then I'll be done and I'll let somebody else talk, but can we talk about the holidays, Jim?
That's a whole topic all by itself, especially as a person who's working through boundaries because you got family.
It starts, Jim, it starts in October.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't thaw till March.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's especially when you're in recovery, this is where you really need to set the hard boundaries and let people deal with their disappointment. I had to do the same thing. Just had to back out of everything. And in our family back then, it was really a social family. We did a lot of things. We saw family every week, sometimes multiple times during the week. So I just had to say no. And yeah, some people were upset. Some people thought I was just trying to, stay away from them or whatever. But I just had to say, no, I need to get better. This is what I need to do. And I did that. Through the course of time, after I got better, then we resumed and everything was good again. And then they understood. But during the time of recovery, you have to set those boundaries to protect your recovery. You just have to. Yeah.
And then the guilt, the irrational guilt.
Well, and I'm not sure if you are how far along you are in boundaries with Stacy, but that is one of the inner boundaries we have to apply. It's that guilt about setting boundaries. Just like we set, boundaries on behaviors of others, we have to set boundaries on our own behavior, the internal boundary. Say, no, I know this is what's good. This is what I have to do. And I'm not going to feel guilty for it. This is what I have to do. And so you set that internal boundary by not, running down the guilt trail.
To get better. This is what I
Yep.
have to do.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
also the internet. Since I've been at home for 2.5 years, feeling like crap and can't really do much, I think I've developed a little bit of an internet addiction, and I think it's adding to my stimulation. I do. I really think because I'm just like mindlessly scrolling because I feel like crap. I'm laying there. What
Yeah.
about? I mean, What are your thoughts on the stimulation and
Oh yeah, it's definitely a stimulator, no question about it. And if you're scrolling through videos, of course it's stimulating. And then we kind of have that. There's also that fear of missing out. So we started, keep on going and keep on going. And it's all stimulating. It's all meant to be stimulating. And so that's why it fuels the nervous system. So a person does have to set limits on it. That's probably one of the harder parts about recovery is giving yourself time to rest and relax. But then what do you do? Right?
Stacy
Yeah.
told me, I asked him the same question. He goes, Marguerite, I don't know what you're going to do, but I want you so bored. Paint drying looks interesting.
Yeah. Reading, non-stimulating books like stories, history or whatever it is, even, good
When your
stories, feel
eyes
good
aren't
movies.
doing their crap,
Well, that's the other thing. Yeah. When you can read. Yeah. Yeah. I did a lot of stuff in nature. I did lots of long walks, just by myself, taking time away. That was helpful for me. And I do like nature. That's why I really responded well to the nature soundtracks that I created. So I did a lot of that.
I like
Yeah.
that one in the Rockies. I want to go see it.
Oh, you'd love the Rockies. Yeah. It's
I've never
beautiful.
been, so I'd like to see it. But so you think like just what putting parameters on myself? Like I'm only going to check my phone once a day.
Yep.
I can
Yep.
be on Anxiety Center, reading Anxiety Center. Before I know it, I'm 45 minutes in Pinterest.
Yeah. I think, yeah. 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 Some people use
Doing
like
what?
solitaire games, right? Card solitaire games. Sometimes it's kind of mind numbing doing that. But whatever you want to do to not stimulate the nervous system is going to help you recover. Yeah.
Okay.
It's super boring, I know, but that's what it takes. But as the body gets back on track, then we can do those things again. But while the body's recovering, the less stimulation we have, the better it off. Yeah, better we are off.
I don't know. The internet's kind of, Jim. I mean, like I found you on the internet. I've had some different problems with my teeth and that I've been able to, it's like 99%. My son is a software engineer and he's like
Mm.
99% of the internet is total crap. But the few nuggets you find is gold, the
Yeah,
few, nugget. And I mean, you're all the way in Canada. I'm way down here. I mean, I would have never had it not been via internet. I couldn't have gotten help, So, I
right.
mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to say I don't like the internet, but and then the sugar addiction. Jim, what's up with anxiety disorder and the sugar addiction?
Well, the body's requesting fuel all the time. And so, we crave sugar because it's fuel. And so that's one of the things we have to watch for. So knowing that it's there, swapping those foods out for something that's non-sugary, that metabolizes slower is a good idea. Yeah. Just recognize that you are going to have a sugar craving. That's just what the body does. It's looking for fuel. And so you want to find different things to fill that need.
But binging on sugar stresses the body.
It does. Yeah. Yeah. And the
So,
pancreas. So yeah.
and the fatty liver disease and
Yep.
mitochondrial disease and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yep.
So it's like a double-edged sword. Like I feel so much better when I go no sugar, but I fight those cravings, man.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a behavioral lifestyle change a person has to make. Now, I'm not saying completely avoid. You can do things, take a little treats here and there. But when you notice the little treats turning into binges, then you have to put a limit there. There's another area for boundaries, right? That's just a boundary. I'm not going to let into my life. I'm not going to let myself binge on sugar because it's not good for me at this particular time.
Well, it's never good. Sugar's
No.
sugar's driving diseases faster than anything else,
Yep. Yep.
other than stress. I would say stress, sugar.
Yeah, they kind of go
I
hand in
think
hand,
I
don't
think
they?
stress is the elephant in the room that nobody talks about, and but there's an endocrinologist that talks about the link between stress and diabetes and other
Yeah,
diseases.
totally. Yeah, you bet.
Anyway,
Yeah. And people's stress today
okay.
is way higher than it normally is, than it usually has been. So, okay. All right. Sorry.
Thank you, Jim, the anxiety whisperer.
Yeah. You're more than welcome. Nice to see you, Marguerite, after all these years of just talking. And good for you. You're the poster child for endurance and perseverance, that's for sure.
You think so, Jim? That's so sweet of you to say to me,
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
feel like this struggle has really hit my self-esteem pretty hard.
Yep. Understandable. But you're coming through this and you're gonna be way stronger than you were going in.
And I think I have a little PTSD from the symptoms. Not real
Yeah.
sure what to do about that. I'm hoping in time, as I feel better, it'll.
It's gonna be time. Yeah, time and confidence. Yeah.
Jim, this is a living hell. I would not wish this on anybody.
I agree. The worst years of my life for sure.
10 out of 10 panic
Yeah.
attacks, crazy symptoms, backache so bad. I mean, dull pain, GERD. Just
Yeah. Yeah. It's a full body beat down when anxiety gets going. That's for sure. Yeah.
I had GERD so bad one night about 2 months ago. It hurt so bad. I mean, and you feel like, I'm like, now I know why everybody goes to the emergency room with this. You
Yeah.
feel just like you're having a heart attack. I slept in my clothes in case I had to get up and drive myself to the emergency room.
Yeah. Yeah. It can be brutal. Yeah.
But I'm grateful to Anxiety Center. I'm grateful to your work. I still don't know. I'm in awe of you. I mean, in 1987, when you were struggling, you had Dr. Week, and that was it. And she was in Australia and she was making records. People were
Yeah.
listening to her on records.
Yeah. It was a bad time back then. Lots of
I don't even know
unknowns.
how you found it in you to persevere.
Well, that's God. It was a prayer when I asked him, if you get me through this, I'll help others. Well, he did by giving me the right information. And of course, Bart Jessup at the time was a godsend psychologist who finally understood the part about hyperstimulation nobody else did, which was huge for me. And I think the other thing when I look back now, what was huge for me, he said, I think I probably talked to this in other conversations. He said, when he did my personality profile, he says, Jim, you're a square peg trying to fit in a round hole. You're not going to make it, because I was doing stuff that I just hated. I mean, I still hate it. Being in the family business was just not, what I wanted to do. So it was instrumental for that reason. Yeah. But no, we're thankful for all of you who are working hard to get better. Thankful for all of the members who support us in the work that we do. So it's a joint effort, that's for sure. Yeah, you bet. And I know when you're through this, Margaret, you're probably helping others now, and you will
Well,
then.
it just makes me sad too that and I've asked you this why isn't the medical community stepping up with this? I had never, like, looking back in hindsight, I see patients that definitely were hyperstimulated, but I didn't know what was happening to them until now. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they just kept stacking more pills on these people and surgeries and procedures and pills and how come, is it just because follow the dollar signs, there's no money in it? Is that what it is?
I don't want to believe that. I think the bigger problem is that, well, you know how much work you've had to do to recover from hyperstimulation. So, doctors want to provide faster fixes for that. And so they try to find
Oh,
ways
he told me
to,
2 weeks. When I first talked to you 2.5 years ago, you can hear it on the Skype call. He told I in fact he only wanted to give me a week off and I begged him to give me 2 weeks off. And
yeah,
he was just but like, take a couple weeks off and you ought to be good. A
yeah,
couple weeks, Jim, was just enough time to get really good and sick.
yeah, yeah, totally. Hey,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? Get like once you stop that roller, once I stop that pace, that's when you even said you're like you're gonna get real sick now.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
gonna feel the full brunt of this. And I stayed in bed for 6 months.
And you see, that's the problem. So doctors want to provide a
And
faster
then I was
cure.
chair bound for 9 months.
Yeah. So just look at, you know, right now there isn't anything they can give you that would fix hyperstimulation. I mean, they know a lot more about it now than they did, even 5 years ago when we were talking about hyperstimulation back in 2005. No one had talked about nervous system dysregulation or homeostatic dysregulation, and all the other things that happened because it just wasn't really talked about or understood. Now it is. So I think in time, that information is going to filter through to the doctors. But again, what are the doctors going to tell their patients? Well, need to go home and work on your recovery for 2.5 to 3 years. How's that going to sit, right? So they're kind of caught in a hard place. They want to help, they just don't have the tools to help. And it just takes a long time to recover because we're making behavioral change at the same time as healing the nervous system. That's a big deal.
Nothing happens quickly with the I'm not a neuro nurse. I'm a kidney nurse, but I know that with the neuro, nothing happens fast.
Nope, nope, not at all. Even from my surgery, I have numbness in my leg, and they say it's going to clear off in time, but it's been 8 months, coming 9 months, and I still have it. And so it just takes a long time because those nerve cells, as you know, are special cells. They have the electrochemical properties. So when you get a cell with two components, it's definitely going to take longer to heal. So that's why we have to work at it for so long to teach the body to be calmer. And in the meantime, we still have to be calm because we don't want to be stirring up the nervous system as we're trying to calm it down. And that's the challenge we face in recovery from hyperstimulation, not even to mention the behavioral side.
Yeah, that nerve stuff, that'll take a little bit, but and then our age,
Yeah,
you
sorry,
know,
just
the
looking at a chat here.
the older the older, that's why I think part of the reason why I gained so much weight, I was thinking about that this morning, is when this hit, I was 40 and probably a little perimenopausal and binging, and I just ballooned
Uh, Kind of the perfect storm, hey? Yeah. But you're working on it and good for you for persevering. Yeah, again, you're the poster child for perseverance and recovery.
what else was I going to do? You in that article I talked with Janice, you said you listed um, stay sick, kill myself, or get better. That was
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we don't have much choice, do we?
oh, I've lost it. I mean, um, I would wish this on nobody.
Yeah, I agree. Unfortunately, it's rampant in today's society. When you look at the stimulation coming from so many areas now, we're just seeing massive upticks in people requesting help and unfortunately, there's still a lot of avenues that don't provide really good help. I still see things online. It's like, wow, that's completely wrong about anxiety. Who can ever recover with that information? And so I just think it's getting worse, not better. Until we make
What
overall lifestyle changes, it's just going to keep getting worse.
what
Yeah.
would those lifestyle changes, in your opinion, look like? Get off
Cutting
the
back.
internet.
Oh, yeah. Staying off social media. The internet has some blessings too. It's got some good information when you find it. but it can be a huge distraction and can be really stimulating, punishing on a person's self-esteem, can overinflate a person. There's just so many things. Like any technology, you get the good with the bad. But I would say, yeah, limit your time on social media. Look at your work life with a healthy balance. A lot of people just sink their lives into their work and they go, 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 go. And they can do that for a while until the body says, well, I've had enough. When you look back at the years when I was growing up, even years before that, there was more of a balance in life than there is today. And now you have, two parents in the family working both hard, children on their own. And so we've
And
just got to
children in
set
1,000 activities.
1,000 activities. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you bet. Always on the go. Well, the body wasn't designed to go that hard. And so we have to move back to more of a relaxed pace, more accepting of some of the things we can't accomplish. Yeah, just, an overall lifestyle change. And as people work through recovery, usually they get there. But it does require a lifestyle change, kind of have to unplug from the way society is today and move to a slower pace. Yeah.